So I'm gonna take a shot in the dark here and say you have a car. So if you have a car, it's gonna have wheels, tires, and suspension. But sometimes those numbers can get a little out of whack, and sometimes our steering wheel can be 90 degrees to the left or right, and the car is gonna keep going straight. So as you guys know, yesterday I just installed new Fortunato 500s on the BRZ, and the suspension and the alignment, it's just not quite set up yet. So we're gonna get that knocked out today. I'm gonna show you guys how to set up your coilovers for mildly aggressive street driving, as well as align the car so that way you don't have to go pay a shop $200 or $100 or however much you pay them. Now I do want to say this and keep this in mind when going through this is I am not a professional at aligning cars. I do all of my own alignments on all of my cars because I'm too cheap to pay a shop to do it when I myself can do it with basic tools. So we're gonna get into it and I'll show you guys kind of the tools you're gonna need to be able to do this and some of the equipment. It's all pretty cheap, to be honest. Now before we can even do the alignment stuff and any of the fun alignment stuff over there, we're gonna need spanner wrenches because I need to adjust the height on the car still and get it to where I need it because I already know the rear of the car is too low. Now we're gonna be doing this alignment two different ways. I have these nice toe plates that I ordered off of Amazon. I think they were $100. They have a fancier set that's like $200 that comes with like a camber, caster adjustment, all that kind of stuff. Now with this car and my STI, caster is a fixed point and there's not really a lot of adjustment you can do with caster unless you have different like front lower control arms and you're able to adjust joints and everything like that. This car doesn't have that, neither does the STI, so I'm not gonna worry about caster. Today we're only gonna be focusing on camber, toe, and height. Now, these are only going to do toe. They work for me, that's all I kind of need. So I ordered these, I just got them about an hour ago. They're just toe plates, they come with some tape measures. We're also gonna verify all toe measurements by doing a string alignment. I'll show you guys how to set up a string alignment, but you're also gonna need some like precise measuring tools. Like I keep telling you guys, calipers come in handy. If you don't have any calipers, like snag a pair because you're gonna use them a lot. Obviously you're gonna need a torque wrench and a breaker bar to be able to take off the lug nuts, and then I just have an impact just to speed it up. Gloves, it's up to you. I like to wear gloves because I touch the camera a lot and I don't want to ruin my camera, so gloves if you want them. So the first thing we're going to do with the BRZ is we need to get the height set. So when going through and doing an alignment and setting up your suspension for just daily driving, there's kind of an order of operations that you want to do all this stuff. So height is going to be first because height is going to kind of set the bar for how we set our suspension. After we set height, we're going to do camber and then toe. If you were adjusting caster, it would be height, camber, caster, toe. So since we're not doing caster, I'm not really going to worry about it too much, but we are going to be starting in the rear of the car. We're gonna get the height set on the car front and rear first. After we get the height set, we'll do the alignment up front, and then we'll do the alignment in the back. So when it comes to kind of setting up the suspension here, the way that I'm going to do it is do, yeah, you know what, we'll just do it. We'll do the height in the front first. I need to raise the front a little bit. I need to raise the rear a little bit because the tires are rubbing on the fenders just a hair. After we get all of the height kind of set on the car, we'll go through, we'll set the camber to what we want the camber to be. I'm pretty much already happy with the camber in the front of it, but I do want to make a couple adjustments on the camber plates in the front of the car. And then we'll swing over to the rear. The last thing we're going to do on the car is mess with dampening because it's an easy one to do. So dampening will be last, kind of how we do this. So let's get started. Let's get the height in the rear of the car done first. Like I said, I do need to raise the rear suspension. I'd say maybe a half an inch or a quarter of an inch. We're just having some rubbing back here on the bumper to the tire. So let's fix that. Let's get that knocked out, and then we'll get the front height knocked out and keep going through this. All right, so right behind our brake caliper here, you can see the coilover. It's just kind of hanging out there. So first thing I got to do is break this lower locking collar loose. Pretty easy to do. Just stick a flathead in here and give it a good hit, and we will be free. In Fortunato's directions specifically, they tell you to lock and unlock the collars using a small hammer and a flathead. So make sure you read your instructions. Some people tell you to use the actual spanner wrenches, not so much for our application. But now that we've got this lower collar free, we can actually start setting height. So in the last video, you guys saw me set preload using that top one. We are free to spin this top one now because it is locked down. It is not going anywhere. So that's what we're going to be using to adjust height. So I already know I need to raise the car by 1/4 of an inch. So essentially what I want is just to have, there's pretty much no gap there. There's maybe 1/8 of an inch. So what I want to do is increase that gap from 0.125 to 0.375. That's going to add 1/4 inch of height back here to be able to help us with the clearance issues. So pretty easy to do. I'm just gonna start spinning. You just gotta spin the coil over and it will start to come loose. So right now we are at 1/4 of an inch. So I'm gonna keep adjusting this, get it up more, get that to say 0.375. After that says 0.375, we'll lock it down and copy the other side, set the car down, make sure our height is good. Bam, we are at 0.3720. I am happy with that. Let's get this lower collar locked back down. So we're just gonna lock it the same way we unlocked it. Put a mallet on there, or put a flathead on there and lock it down. Now that collar is not going to go anywhere. And then just to verify final measurement, we are at 0.3740 for final measurement. I'm happy with that. That is within a 100,000th of an inch right there. So I am perfectly good with that guy. I'm gonna swing over to the other side, match the height, set the car back down. We'll verify height. If we're happy with it, then we will move up to the front, get the front height knocked out, and then we'll start doing the alignment. All right, so we have the height set on the BRZ, and I am pretty happy with the height in the rear. We're not gonna be rubbing or anything like that. I can fit a couple fingers up in there and it still looks good. So rear height is set, both of them are matched so that the gap between the locking collar for the preload and the locking collar for the height adjustment is both set to 0.3750, or at least within 0.003 of an inch. So those are done in the rear. We need to knock out the fronts. We need to do the same thing to the fronts and get the front aligned, or the front height set. I'm pretty much kind of happy with where the front height is at, but I do want to go through here and just double check to make sure that the front height is the same on both sides, because when I just kind of threw these on to do the quick review of them, I didn't really set that. So let's get the front height set, get those done with, and then we can start the alignment. So our front height is now set on the BRZ. I just went ahead, I did the coilovers from the lower adjusting collar to the top preload collar, 1.25 inches, and got those set. Now, normally if you have the good toe plates that cost an extra $100, you can measure camber and all that stuff. I didn't opt for those. I kind of wish I did, so I'm kind of kicking myself for getting those. I tried downloading a phone app and then calibrating the phone off of this angle because I know that's 0 degrees, and then tried putting the phone up to the wheel. I kept getting a little bit of skewed results, but I know that the angle of the fronts is roughly -2 degrees. The top hats for both sides are set the exact same, so I'm not too worried about camber. I'm pretty happy with camber up in the front. But now we need to adjust toe. So I need to jack it back up, take the wheels off, put them back on, set the car back down to adjust the front tow rods. Because whenever you adjust tow, you want the car to be on a level surface or as level as possible, and you want load on the suspension. You don't want to try to adjust tow with the car in the air. It's just not gonna, just don't do it. You also want to make sure your steering wheel is straight in the car. I do believe mine is. My steering wheel is definitely straight. So let me get the tow rods broken loose. After I get the car jacked up, I'll kind of show you guys where they're at, so that way you know what nut to break loose to be able to adjust tow up here. So the way you adjust tow is right on the bottom of the knuckle here. You've got your tow arm that comes out. This is your outer tie rod. This is your inner tie rod. Right in the middle of it, there's like this small locking screw that pushes up against the outer tie rod. Now what you want to do is just break that free, and the way that we're going to be able to adjust the tow on this is through this inner tie rod by spinning it either out, up, or down. So now that we have the tie rods broken free, let's go ahead and get this wheel thrown back on. Let's get the alignment plates set up and start aligning the front of the car. So I found a couple cinder blocks just to make it a little bit easier for us to be able to get to those tie rods. The next thing that we need to do is set up the toe plate on this side. I've already got the other side set up, but I do want to walk you guys through how to use this thing. So because I have the car propped up, I found these nice Pittsburgh jack stands from Harbor Freight. They're not really good for anything except for holding a tow plate, because these jack stands will probably collapse on you. But let's get this thing set up. So the way that we're gonna wanna do this is on the back side of the toe plate, you've got these studs coming off. Now what these studs are gonna be used for is they're gonna just sit on the very middle center of the wheel. On this toe plate, you've got a little notch right in the middle of it, so that way you can find center of the wheel, and you want that notch to be lined up with the center, because you're gonna want the same measurements coming off of both sides. So just to start with, I'm gonna get this guy kind of lined up here. Now we have our toe plate set up against the car. So we have the center point of the toe plate itself on the center point of the wheel. I already have the other side done. So next we need to run these tape measures that are provided across the car. So they give you 2 of them. I'm gonna go ahead, Just run them through. We'll take the measurements and see what they come out as. We'll see if we're towed out. We'll see if we're towed in. We'll see all the things. So I'm gonna double check that my steering wheel is straight because I don't want to have to reset these plates up after getting those aligned. Well, that's interesting. That's an interesting problem. So you might see a little bit of change here. I had to take the metal heat shield off and the bumper to get that tape to go across, and it's still just not working for me. I have it all set up, but this front tape is it's hitting the header on the bottom of the car. Like, it's just rubbing against the header on the car, which is more than annoying to do. More than annoying to have to deal with. So we're abandoning this method for the front, and we're gonna be swapping to a string alignment, and I'll show you how to use these toe plates on the rear. Okay, we abandoned the plates because they wouldn't clear the headers, so I just got the string box set up. Now, in order to do this correctly, there's a couple measurements, well, there's a lot of measurements you need to make sure are in place before doing this. So you're gonna want 4 jack stands. Ideally, you want the string to go through the center of the wheel. I don't have anything to jack the jack stand up. I don't have anything to raise the jack stand, so I'm making do with what I have. It's fairly close, but not perfect. I mean, I could take the center blocks off, but if I take the center blocks off, then I'm not gonna be able to gain access to the tow arm, so we're just doing what we can. This alignment will get me close enough. This is more work than I normally do for my alignments. Normally I just eyeball, guess, and check. So this will be a lot more accurate. The measurements you wanna make sure the width between that jack stand and that jack stand are the exact same as the front. Now that's not the only measurement that you need to do. Next, you need to find a known center point on the wheels to be able to measure from. So I took off my center caps, and I know that that nut right there is a fixed point and it doesn't move. So what I did is went off of that center nut, went down, read it. It is just about 5 inches. Then you got to come over here on the other side and you got to do the same thing. You go off that center nut and right at 5 inches. Now you got to do the exact same thing for the fronts, and that's going to make sure that the jack stands, that way that one's not farther back than the other, or that way one's not too far left or too far right, because you could have both of these jack stands be the exact same width apart, but one could be more left, one could be more right. So you got to make sure that they're centered and make sure that the measurement between the wheel and the string is the exact same on both sides of the car. So now that we have the string going across, I can definitely see, you can definitely see it on the front, we're definitely towed in. On the front, on the passenger side, we're just a little towed in, so we're not too bad, but that side is definitely more towed in than this side, so we do need to fix that. Now, the way that we're gonna do this is we're gonna set our tow to 0. I don't want any tow on the car, just personal preference. You can set it up however you want, but this is where you're gonna start needing those calipers even more. So what you're gonna wanna do is you're gonna wanna take a measurement from a known point on the wheel. Hold up, this is very difficult to do with one hand. So essentially what we're gonna be doing is, we're gonna be taking measurements off of the wheel to the string. So that measurement was 1.60. And ideally what we're gonna wanna do is we're gonna wanna get that front measurement the exact same as the rear measurement, so that way we have no tow. Once they're both the exact same, that means tow is completely forward and back. We're not towed in, we're not towed out, anything like that. So I'm gonna get going. I'm gonna knock out this side. After I get this side done, I'll walk you guys through how to do the other side, just so that way I'm not trying to fidget with both sides at the same time, you know what I mean? Not gonna lie, just knocked out this side, pretty happy with it. Like, look how much straighter that is. That is like perfectly parallel with the line. So the way I'm doing this is I'm just writing down all the I'm just writing down all the measurements on this piece of paper. So if I'm looking at it, F is front, R is rear for the measurement from the wheel to the string. So when we started this, we were at 1.2545 in the front and 0.8080 in the rear. So you can see like how bad the tow actually was. So you can see how much we were towed out. And then just going through, I made some more adjustments, got down to 1.0735 and 1.0535. I could try to split the difference between that and get them both to 1.0635. But every time I tried, it was just either too much or too little. So, I mean, this is really close. This is a really good, like, first time go with this. So let me walk you guys through the other side and show you how I'm doing this. Okay, so right off the bat, I can tell you this side is not nearly as bad as the other side was. But we'll go ahead, we'll grab our initial measurements, and then the way we're gonna be adjusting this is we're gonna be spinning that inner tie rod. For my car, it's a 14 millimeter. For yours, I'll just check sizing before you go to do all of this. The most annoying part about doing this is when you touch the string and it just moves back and forth a whole bunch. You'll see me do it. It's really annoying to do. But we'll go ahead, we'll get our initial measurements. The goal is to just get the numbers the same from the face of the wheel out to here. Now you're gonna wanna stick with one measuring spot on here. I took my pen, I just put a little dot on the other wheel so I knew where I was gonna consistently measure from. So I'm gonna do the exact same thing here. Yes, it wipes off, it's just a normal pen. So for the rear, we're at 1.1455. There you go, your boy touched the string. For the fronts, we're at 1.2875. So we do have some adjusting to do. It is towed out right now, so we need to go ahead and tow it back in. So I'm gonna go down there, I'm gonna start making adjustments. Whenever you're making adjustments for the tow, it's gonna be trial and error. You're gonna go back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, which is why I suggest if you do have some of these cinder block stands or just cinder blocks or anything like that, I do suggest using them. But let me hop in here, let me start towing this guy in, and we'll get the alignment continued alignment stuff. Yay, so much fun. Okay, I lied to you guys. The plates still work. Ideally, you want them in the center of the wheel, but you can use it just as long as it's on the wheel. It'll still work. It's just not the most ideal situation, just because it will still read left and right on there, just not as dramatically as in the middle of the wheel. But I took measurements on this. So the way that you want to set these up is you want those little standoffs to only be touching the lip of the wheel or the face of it, whatever one works better for you. After you get that kind of set up, you're going to run these tape measures from one side over to the other side, and they're just going to slide right in there and hang out here. Now, we did our string alignment. We got it to where we wanted it. We made sure the measurements from the wheel to the string were the same. We did the same thing with the plates and the tapes on both sides. The way that you want to find your total toe measurement is you want the front tape and the rear tape readings. You're going to do the rear tape measurement minus the front tape measurement, and that's going to give you your total toe. So we are almost at 0 toe, which is actually perfect. So we're at under 1/10 of an inch of toe, which I'm totally fine with. 0.0625, I can live with that. So it still works very well. I actually would highly suggest these plates if you're doing a string alignment or a DIY alignment like I just did. But very happy with how the front end measurements came out based off of doing it with the string and using those plates. I'll link below these plates and the fancier plates with the camber and caster adjustment stuff, but the fronts are good. The fronts are solid. I am more than happy with this. So I'm gonna get the locking nut on the tie rods tightened up, and then we are going to hop over to the rear and start doing the rear alignment, and we're essentially just gonna be altering the toe just to make sure the rear toe is the same. So I just got the bumper thrown back on. Everything is tightened down for the suspension again, and we are good to go. The last thing that we have to adjust is dampening. Now, when it comes to dampening, it's easy. You just turn this knob whatever direction you want. Now, these are 32-way adjustable coilovers, I believe. I don't remember off the top of my head, but what I'm gonna end up doing is I just turned it all the way to hard. I'm gonna go 16 clicks back. Bam, 16. So that puts us right in the middle of the dampening adjustment for the coilovers. Now, from that point, after driving the car for a while, I may adjust it so it is either harder or softer, depending on what I want out of the car. But we are all aligned. We are, in theory, all aligned. Now, the last thing that we really need to do is test drive the car and get it off of these blocks. Now, when it comes to the test drive, I know for a fact that these wheels are mathematically straight. They are 100%, we measured them, we know they're straight. But if our steering wheel is crooked or not straight while we're driving, then we're gonna have to go back in there and make some more adjustments. So to straighten out the steering wheel, essentially, if it's tilted one way or the other, you would turn this tow rod. You're gonna turn the tow rods opposing directions the same amount of time. So that one would be counterclockwise, like half a turn. That one would be clockwise, half a turn. Now that's gonna keep your alignment intact while straightening out the steering wheel. So let's go drive it. If we need to come back and straighten out the steering wheel, we will. One more thing that I do want to touch on before jumping into this is a lot of you guys ask me how I jack up my car without destroying the pinch welds or just kind of still able to get a jack down there. In the rear of the car, I just jack it up off the rear diff. It's the easiest spot to do it. For the fronts, I use this pinch weld jack tool. It's done me wonders. I'll link this down below in the description as well. But you essentially just put it up on the pinch welds, you put your jack on the back side there, and then just jack the car up, and it doesn't destroy your pinch welds or anything like that, which is kind of nice. So let's get these blocks off and let's go drive. Woo-hoo-hoo! We're driving straight! Sick! That is actually very exciting. So, wow! I am impressed. You've outdone yourself, Tanner. You've aligned a car. It's not a huge feat, but I'm impressed with it. Like, you guys saw yesterday's video of the coilover install where the alignment was all sorts of fucked. Now, it drives straight. Drives itself straight. The only ones we really touched were toe, height, and dampening. So we shouldn't have the revving issue in the rear of the car anymore, because that was one thing that concerned me a little bit. Is I just don't want to destroy my tires. Tires ain't cheap, and your boy's balling on a budget. Wow, the alignment feels beautiful. So the order of operations for doing alignment, my way at least, is going to be set your height, set your camber, set your caster, do your toe, and then do dampening. And that should get you exactly where you want it. Now, your vehicle specifications for how you want your alignment are going to differ from how I set mine. But if you like the video, you know what to do. Go ahead, hit that like button and turn it blue, like the original color of the other Subaru. And if you're not already subscribed to the channel, hit your boy up one of these corners. No idea which one I'll put it in quite yet, but with that, I will catch you guys in the next one. Peace out, homies. Woo!